the fucking satanic behind all this shit. It's her. I can't even explain it, bro. She just ain't no, she the devil, bro. That's how I see it. She the devil. Janice Combs is the fucking devil.
50 Cent's explosive Netflix documentary about Sean Diddy Combs has been released, but something about it immediately felt off. Viewers quickly noticed that major parts of the story were missing, especially when it came to Diddy's mother, Janice Combs. The final edit felt overly clean and polished, as if certain truths were deliberately left out. According to leaked scenes and resurfaced clips circulating online, those missing details paint a much darker picture than expected. From what has surfaced, Janice Combs may not have simply stood by her son. Some believe she played a key role in shaping the man he became. Others even suggest she helped build the foundation that eventually led to the chaos surrounding him. After the documentary aired, many online reactions echoed the same sentiment. This information was already known. The documentary remained surface level, avoiding deeper topics and steering clear of names that could have sparked real controversy. Notably, Jay-Z and Beyoncé, both connected to Diddy through various industry circles, were barely mentioned. Their absence only fueled more suspicion. Most surprising to viewers was that Janice Combs received only about 5 minutes of total screen time. 5 minutes for the woman who raised Diddy and witnessed his life from the very beginning? This led many to ask why her role was so limited and what Netflix chose to leave out. The focus now turns to the deleted scenes, resurfaced footage, and overlooked testimonies that failed to make the final cut, details that could significantly change how people view Diddy and his rise to power. Many are now convinced that Janice Combs was not merely aware of what was happening, but may have known every detail, every secret, and every move behind the scenes. Before addressing the heavier aspects of this story, it is important to step back and examine the bigger picture. The documentary offered only brief mentions and surface-level flashbacks of Janice, leaving out an entire side of her story, an omission that has raised serious questions.
You heard about how Diddy's mom came out defending him? She made a comment saying that Diddy is not a monster.
Yeah, he not a monster. She is. But I don't want to go down. But she is. She's the fucking monster. Everything in her fucking name. She's the monster. She created that, and y'all gonna see on that Netflix.
When Diddy was arrested and allegations began flooding the internet, his mother, Janice Combs, released a lengthy public statement. What surprised many, however, was that the statement focused less on defending her son and more on defending herself. It came across as damage control rather than unconditional support. In her message, Janice Combs portrayed herself as a strong, hard-working single mother who did everything she could for her children. Yet she barely addressed whether Diddy was responsible for the actions he is accused of. Instead, the emphasis appeared to be on protecting her own reputation and distancing herself from the controversy. One section of her statement drew particular attention. She directly denied an allegation connected to the tragic 1991 City College of New York incident. That night, Diddy was promoting a celebrity basketball game that turned deadly when the crowd became uncontrollable, resulting in a stampede that killed 9 people. The tragedy left a permanent mark on New York's music scene. Following the incident, Kirk Burroughs, co-founder of Bad Boy Records and a close associate of Diddy's at the time, claimed he witnessed Diddy slap his own mother after she questioned one of his decisions. Janice Combs strongly denied this allegation in her recent statement. However, several individuals who were close to Diddy during that period have shared accounts that directly contradict her version, raising further doubts about her denial. To better understand these contradictions, it is important to look at Janice Combs' background and her influence on Diddy's early life. Diddy's father, Melvin Combs, was murdered when Diddy was just 2 years old, leaving Janice to raise him alone. She has often said she worked 3 jobs to support her family, including work as a teacher's assistant and claims of modeling, though little photographic evidence of that modeling career exists. It is the mysterious third job, however, that continues to spark speculation and controversy. What is clear is that Diddy grew up in a specific environment that many believe shaped his ambition, behavior, and approach to power. Several people familiar with the family have said these traits can be traced directly back to his upbringing with Janice. The documentary portrayed Janice Combs as a loyal mother, standing firmly by her son, but not everyone accepted that narrative. Freddie P., a former artist signed to Diddy's label, openly challenged her public statement. After it was released, Freddie P. shared his own reaction video, offering an emotional and unfiltered response filled with serious accusations. His statements painted a very different picture of both Diddy and Janice Combs, leaving many viewers questioning everything they thought they knew about the Combs family.
You the reason the man like he is.
You had any issues with her?
I don't like her. I ain't ever had no issues with her. I just don't like her. I don't like her.
Why you don't like her? You personally? Why?
Because she got my motherfucking money. That's why.
Freddie P. did not hold back. He completely flipped the narrative, while Janice Combs publicly insisted that her son was not a monster. According to Freddie P., she was actually the one who created him. He claimed Janice Combs was not an innocent bystander watching her son's empire grow from afar. Instead, he alleged she was present while the abuse was happening, saw everything, and chose to stay silent. In Freddie P.'s words, her current defense of Sean Diddy Combs means nothing because her own character, he said, is already deeply compromised. He compared it to one criminal defending another, insisting no one should take it seriously. What makes his claims hit harder is that Freddie P. was not just another online commentator. He worked closely with Diddy for years, witnessed the inner circle firsthand, and saw how the Combs family allegedly operated behind closed doors. His message was clear. If people truly want to understand Diddy's behavior and where it all began, they need to look at his mother first. His statements spread rapidly online, pushing fans to connect dots they had previously overlooked. But Freddie P. was not alone. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has been speaking out for years, long before Cassie Ventura's lawsuit ever surfaced. And Gene Deal's claims about Janice Combs are even more disturbing, especially because none of them appeared in Netflix's documentary.
You know, his mother had a modeling agency, and it was alleged that it was also Ladies of the Night, a prostitution ring too, or these ladies was doing things other than modeling. So the apple don't fall far from the tree, yeah? So now you gotta understand this, and looking at her and some of the stuff that he was saying, and their relationship has changed since I knew them.
According to Gene Deal, Netflix left out a crucial and unsettling detail. He alleged that Janice Combs' so-called modeling agency was not what it seemed. Instead, he claimed it was operating as something far darker, hidden behind the appearance of a legitimate business. That accusation alone stunned many who heard it. Gene Deal went on to say that Diddy did not inherit his controversial behavior from his father, Melvin Combs, who was killed when Diddy was just a toddler. Rather, he claimed Diddy learned these behaviors directly from the environment created by his mother. As Gene Deal put it, the apple does not fall far from the tree. If these claims hold any truth, they raise a chilling question. Could Diddy's alleged actions be a reflection of what he witnessed growing up? According to Gene Deal, this pattern did not come out of nowhere. It ran deep within the family. And what makes this even more unsettling is what comes next, because from here on out, the details only get darker.
This man was talking about that his mother could take her palms and bend over, put them down on the floor. Not bend over, but she could stand straight up and put her palms on the floor, bruh. He's saying that about his mother. Who describes any of their mother action like that in a sexual way? And then, you know, I don't know how many dudes do kiss their mother in their mouth when they 50, 60 years old or something like that.
Gene Deal also raised a point that made many people uncomfortable: the way Sean Diddy Combs used to talk about his mother. In an old clip, Diddy is seen on camera describing Janice Combs, bragging that she could put her palms flat on the floor. On the surface, it sounds harmless, but the tone and delivery left viewers uneasy. Gene Deal specifically called out that moment, saying it did not sound right at all. He questioned who would talk about their own mother in that way. To him, Diddy's words felt strange, almost inappropriate, as if something was off in how he viewed her. Gene said the energy between them did not resemble a normal mother and son bond, and that comment was just one of several things that made him suspicious. But that was not all he noticed. He pointed out another detail that may explain why so many believe there is far more to the Combs family story than the public has ever been told.
You know, the way she dressed is not age appropriate, and I know some women gonna say, how she supposed to dress? She could dress whatever she want to. Now listen to me, man. Nah, I ain't gonna have my mama around my friends or nobody with some come me draws on and talking about, you know, she my mama. I don't give a shit. I ain't gonna be talking about my mama is bending over, putting her palms on the floor.
Gene Deal made it clear that while he could not personally confirm whether Janice Combs attended the infamous freak-off parties people have been talking about, he strongly believed she knew they were happening. His reasoning was simple. Janice was always close by. She was not a distant parent. She attended events, showed up at parties considered normal, and remained deeply involved in Diddy's personal and business life. Gene Deal also shared something that caught widespread attention. He claimed Janice Combs often appeared wearing outfits he felt were far too revealing for the settings she was in. He described them as age inappropriate, saying that if it were his own mother, he would feel uncomfortable seeing her dressed that way around his friends. To him, nothing about it felt right. The energy, the behavior, the entire vibe. While Netflix left much of this context out, the internet has not. Videos continue to circulate online, with fans analyzing them frame by frame, trying to uncover the truth behind Diddy and Janice Combs' relationship. One clip in particular, the now viral IV drip video, has people wondering if it reveals far more than anyone initially realized.
Ma?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you too. Mine freshly dipped though.
What you trying to do? Show my shoes?
I was trying to show you the shoes. Yeah, my mom's is single. Mom's is single. I ain't gonna hate on my mom's. She's single. Me and my mom talked about one time doing a dating show with her. She's so picky. She's so picky, they don't stand. But yeah, that'd be the funniest show in the world.
It will be. Especially with me.
I don't even want to get started if you were doing that. We're not doing that, cause yeah, my mom's single. Yeah, for real. Mom do know how to have a good time. She ain't sitting in the house playing.
Right.
Outside moving and shaking, baby.
That's right.
She come with me to strip club. I don't care. Real. It's my dog, you know, I want to live life. We out here moving and grooving. So my mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving.
Don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her palms, you know?
Flat.
Flat. Oh! Take pew, pew, pew.
In one viral clip, Sean Diddy Combs and his mother, Janice Combs, are seen sitting side by side receiving IV treatments. Both are hooked up, casually chatting as if it is a normal day. They brushed it off as simple hydration therapy, something harmless and routine. However, the situation became unsettling when court filings tied to Diddy's ongoing cases revealed that guests at his so-called freak-off parties often required IV treatments afterward due to exhaustion or passing out. Seeing Diddy and Janice Combs receiving identical IV treatments at the same time immediately raised questions online. Many began asking where they had just been and why the timing looked so suspicious. When connected with everything else that has surfaced, the moment left many people uneasy. Then came another clip that made viewers deeply uncomfortable. In the video, Diddy is seen kissing Janice Combs directly on the lips. It is not a quick, casual peck, but a moment long enough to make viewers visibly uneasy. During the same clip, Diddy begins talking about how his mother is single and needs a man, a comment that shocked many people watching. Another detail in the video caused even more backlash. Janice Combs is wearing bright white nail polish. That detail stood out because Cassie Ventura's lawsuit stated that Diddy allegedly had a fixation on women wearing white nails during private freak-off sessions, liking the contrast against their skin. As a result, people began connecting dots and questioning why Janice Combs was wearing the same specific nail color. The implication disturbed many viewers. Adding to the controversy, several photos have surfaced online showing Janice Combs in bold, revealing outfits that many said looked more appropriate for a nightclub. In many of these images, Diddy is standing right beside her. The closeness, body language, and overall appearance in these public moments have fueled widespread concern. Online discussions continue to question why Janice Combs, a woman in her 70s, often appears styled like one of Diddy's girlfriends rather than his mother. The photos show her posing next to her son in flashy attire, resembling a couple at an after-party rather than a parent and child. But the story grows darker with accounts from people who knew Diddy during his childhood. Several former friends have shared troubling stories about what life was like inside Janice Combs' home. According to one childhood friend, the environment was far from normal. He claimed Janice Combs regularly hosted wild parties in the house while Diddy was still a child. These were not harmless gatherings. Adults allegedly engaged in explicit behavior openly, and children in the home, including Diddy, would sometimes walk in and witness it. Growing up in that environment, the friend said, meant boundaries did not exist and inappropriate behavior was treated as normal. That same childhood friend shared details that left many people deeply disturbed. He said, "I don't know exactly why Diddy turned out this way, but I truly believe it all goes back to what he saw as a kid." When you think about it, that statement makes sense. Being exposed to that kind of chaos at such a young age can seriously shape how someone views relationships, power, and even consent later in life. If those claims are true, then Diddy's adult controversies might not just be random, they could be echoes of what he grew up witnessing in his own home. And that brings us to something even more disturbing, one of the darkest allegations Cassie Ventura ever made about Diddy, which shocked everyone who read it. This next part is extremely disturbing, but it's important to include because it shows just how twisted and unsettling some of these claims have become. According to allegations tied to Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, she described something that left even longtime fans speechless. Cassie Ventura claimed that Janice Combs had what she called a special recipe for macaroni and cheese, but the details were beyond disturbing. She alleged that Janice Combs would take a jar containing something deeply inappropriate and add it to the dish before baking it, then serve it to both Diddy and Cassie, even eating it herself. It's a claim that sounds unreal, but it highlights just how broken and bizarre things may have been inside that household. If true, that kind of behavior isn't nurturing, it's unsettling on every level. This story, as wild as it sounds, points to a level of dysfunction that goes far beyond celebrity scandals. It paints a picture of a family dynamic that was deeply off balance, possibly toxic at its core. And long before Diddy's arrest, someone had already tried to sound the alarm about him and the world around him. That person was none other than Dapper Dan, a fashion icon and Harlem legend who has seen the industry from every angle. When reporters asked him about Diddy, he didn't sugarcoat a single thing.
Did y'all see when they interviewed Dapper Dan about Diddy?
I haven't seen that one. Please.
They ran into Dapper Dan in Harlem and they asked him what he thought about what was going on with Diddy and if he knew Diddy. And I love Dapper Dan for this. He said, "I grew up with his parents." He said, "and what's going on with him has been going on long before him. Now, his father was a government snitch and a bad actor in the criminal world altogether. But there's whispers in the streets of Harlem that Diddy's mother isn't alive. Not his biological mother, but that woman is his aunt.
Whoa.
There are whispers.
Wait a minute.
There are whispers.
Dapper Dan, the Harlem fashion legend, once made a statement that stunned everyone who actually paid attention. He said, "I grew up with his parents. I knew his parents." But it was what he said next that really hit deep. What's going on with him has been going on long before him. That single line changed the way people looked at Diddy's story. Dapper Dan was hinting that Diddy's behavior didn't start with fame, money, or power. It might have roots in his own family history. He was basically saying this kind of behavior had been around for generations, long before Diddy ever stepped into the spotlight. In other words, if you really want to understand who Diddy became, you have to go back to where he came from, and that means looking straight at Janice Combs. But back then, most people didn't take Dapper Dan's warning seriously. They brushed it off as old Harlem talk, just gossip passed around the neighborhood. Now, with everything that's come out, those old words suddenly sound prophetic. And here's where it gets even more mysterious. Some whispers around Harlem claim that Janice Combs might not even be Diddy's biological mother. According to a few locals, she could actually be his aunt. That's not confirmed by any official record, but the fact that people close to the family have even said this shows that something about the story doesn't add up. It's like everyone who really knew the Combs family has questions they've never dared to ask out loud. Singer Jaguar Wright also chimed in, and she's been vocal for years. She said Janice Combs was the blueprint, the one who started the entire lifestyle that Diddy is now accused of continuing. According to Jaguar Wright, Diddy didn't invent anything, he just copied what he saw growing up. And remember Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard? He added another layer to this puzzle, one that Netflix completely ignored. Gene Deal claimed the real reason Diddy fired him had nothing to do with job performance or loyalty. According to him, it was because of Janice Combs and the inappropriate advances she allegedly started making toward him. Gene Deal said things between him and Janice Combs started off strictly professional, but she kept testing his boundaries in ways that made him uncomfortable. He claimed she'd constantly find little excuses to get his attention, asking him to run errands that didn't make sense for someone in his position. It wasn't about needing help, it was about control. He believed Janice Combs was trying to see how far she could push him to test whether he'd submit to her authority. Gene Deal recalled that she'd even drop hints, asking why he never called her or why he didn't pay her any attention. But he always kept things respectful, addressing her as Miss Combs and staying at a distance. Then one day, things came to a breaking point. Janice Combs told Gene Deal to go downstairs and grab some food from her car. He looked around the office. There were interns everywhere, literally dozens of people who could have done that task. So he realized this wasn't about the food, it was about power. She wanted to prove she could make him do anything she said. So Gene Deal refused. That's when, according to him, Janice Combs snapped. She told him, "Everybody does what I tell them to do except you. Who do you think you are?" The argument got heated, and that's when Diddy himself walked in. Gene Deal said Diddy came out frustrated, saying something like, "I'm tired of this. Why are you always bothering Gene? Leave him alone." But even with that, the situation never really blew over. Gene Deal said that after that day, he started noticing changes. His schedule got cut, his shifts were reassigned, and slowly he was pushed out of Diddy's circle. Looking back, Gene Deal believes Janice Combs had personal feelings toward him, and when he didn't give her the reaction she wanted, she used her influence to get him removed. And here's where things take an even darker turn. Gene Deal said Diddy's reaction to all of this wasn't normal, it was possessive. He acted protective over his mother in a way that didn't feel like a typical son. That strange dynamic became even clearer when Gene Deal spoke with Kirk Burrows, who said that back in 1991, he actually witnessed Diddy slap Janice Combs during an argument. Gene Deal also remembered seeing Diddy curse out his mother inside a limousine, telling her to stay out of his business in a way that shocked everyone around. The tension, the control, the twisted family dynamic, it all painted a deeply unsettling picture of what was really going on behind closed doors. Gene Deal said he finally reached his breaking point after witnessing one of the most uncomfortable moments between Diddy and his mother inside that limousine. After hearing Diddy curse out Janice Combs in front of everyone, Gene Deal couldn't stay quiet anymore. He confronted Diddy right then and there, saying, "If you ever talk to your mother like that around me again, I'm gonna beat you." According to Gene Deal, Diddy went completely silent because he knew he wasn't bluffing. That moment exposed what Gene Deal called a toxic cycle between Diddy and Janice Combs. Despite all the disrespect and alleged arguments, even moments where things supposedly got physical, Janice Combs still stood by him. She continued to protect him, cover for him, and keep his secrets buried. And the question everyone keeps asking is why? Some people think the answer is simple. Janice Combs might be just as involved as her son. According to rapper Mace, who's been calling Diddy out for years, Janice Combs is the key to everything. Mace said if anyone truly wants to uncover the full truth about Diddy, every hidden deal, every dark secret, they should be asking Janice Combs because she's the one who knows it all. He even claims she has all the receipts, literally. According to Mace, Diddy placed almost everything he owned under her name. The houses, luxury cars, companies, all tied to Janice Combs on paper. Why? Because Diddy knew if things ever went bad, he'd need someone to protect his assets, someone loyal, someone who would never turn against him. And that person was always going to be his mother. It's a strategy that makes sense in a twisted way. Everyone else who could have exposed Diddy, the notorious B.I.G., Craig Mack, Black Rob, they're all gone. Others close to him are locked behind non-disclosure agreements, legally forbidden from saying a word. But Janice Combs is still here, still silent, and still carrying the truth no one else can speak. For years, she stayed quiet, never turning on her son, never breaking that family code. Now more people are starting to wonder whether her silence is loyalty or guilt. You could call it loyalty, but at some point, that loyalty starts looking a lot like complicity. If Janice Combs has really been protecting Diddy all these years, then she's also been standing right beside everything he's accused of. And that's exactly what the Netflix documentary avoided digging into, the how behind Diddy's rise to power. The official story paints Diddy as the hungry young hustler who worked his way up through pure determination. But not everyone is buying that version. Behind the scenes, there have always been quiet whispers about how he really got his start. Some people believe the story runs much deeper and darker. Industry rumors have claimed that legendary music executive Clive Davis may have had ties to Diddy's father, Melvin Combs, before Melvin Combs was murdered. After his death, young Diddy suddenly found himself under Clive Davis's mentorship, almost like he was hand-picked for something bigger. Convenient? Absolutely. Many people think Diddy didn't just get lucky, they believe he was chosen, maybe even groomed for success, with powerful people guiding his path in exchange for things most artists could never talk about publicly. And according to a few insiders, Janice Combs wasn't just standing by watching her son's career take off. She may have been right in the middle of it, managing moves and making sure things went according to plan. If those claims are true, she wasn't simply a proud mother helping her son succeed. She was an active player behind the curtain. But here's where it gets even riskier for her. New reports have suggested that Janice Combs might actually be in legal danger herself. Allegedly, she's been helping Diddy move and hide his assets, everything from luxury properties and hidden bank accounts to entire business ventures registered under her name. The idea was simple. keep the money and assets away from investigators and lawsuits by placing them under someone untouchable, his mother. If those claims prove true, Janice Combs isn't just a witness to Diddy's empire, she could become a central figure in the investigation surrounding it. And if that happens, this won't just be a story about a mother protecting her son, it will be something much more serious. That's not loyalty anymore, that's crossing into criminal territory. We're talking about potential money laundering and aiding and abetting. If federal investigators ever start digging through Janice Combs' financial records, things could get ugly fast. She could easily find herself facing charges as an accomplice. And honestly, a lot of people believe that might be exactly what should happen. From what's come out so far, it doesn't look like Janice Combs was just quietly watching from the sidelines while Diddy did whatever he wanted. She was allegedly involved, aware of it all, maybe even guiding some of it. Some say she didn't just raise Diddy, she trained him, shaping the person he eventually became. Now fast forward to where things stand today, and the situation surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has gotten even messier. After decades of rumors and speculation, 2024 became the year when those long-whispered stories finally exploded into the public eye. The turning point came in November 2023, when singer Cassie Ventura filed a bombshell federal lawsuit accusing Diddy of years of abuse, trafficking, and coercion. The case was settled almost immediately, within just one day, but the damage was already done. The lawsuit cracked open a door that could never be shut again. Since then, multiple new lawsuits have been filed against Diddy by different individuals, all echoing similar accusations of physical and psychological control. These cases didn't just drag Diddy's name through the mud, they pulled in his businesses, his associates, and even people in his inner circle, some of whom are now cooperating with federal investigators. And that's where things started getting serious. In March 2024, the Department of Homeland Security raided Diddy's mansions in both Los Angeles and Miami as part of an ongoing federal investigation. Agents seized electronics, hard drives, and documents reportedly tied to allegations of human trafficking and financial crimes. Diddy's sons were briefly detained during the searches, but later released without charges. Federal officials haven't made any arrests yet, but sources confirmed the investigation remains active. What makes all this even more relevant to Janice Combs and ties back to everything we've discussed is that investigators are reportedly examining the financial network behind Diddy's empire. That includes companies and property titles allegedly connected to Janice Combs. So while her name hasn't appeared in court documents yet, insiders believe her financial dealings could eventually come under scrutiny if the investigation widens. As of early 2026, Diddy has been keeping a low profile. His businesses have taken major hits. Partnerships with Revolt TV, Ciroc, and De Leon Tequila have either ended or been quietly scaled back. Several artists once tied to Bad Boy Records have publicly distanced themselves from him. Even longtime collaborators like 50 Cent have used their platforms to call for full transparency, with 50 Cent hinting that new evidence might still come to light soon. So if the rumors about Janice Combs' deeper involvement are true, things could be heading toward an even bigger reckoning, one that exposes not just Diddy's empire, but the family ties that helped build it. As 2025 rolled into 2026, the fallout from the Diddy investigations only kept getting deeper, and the cracks in his empire started widening for real. After those major federal raids in early 2024, insiders said the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and multiple state agencies continued building what they described as a long-term organized crime case focused on trafficking, financial fraud, and racketeering. These aren't just tabloid stories anymore. There are real federal investigations still ongoing. According to verified reports from outlets like Rolling Stone, CNN, and the New York Times, investigators have spent the past year quietly interviewing former Bad Boy Records employees, assistants, and even household staff who worked in Diddy's homes. Some of those witnesses have allegedly described years of systematic control, secret parties, and large, unexplained cash transactions, exactly the kind of details prosecutors look for in racketeering and trafficking cases. In late 2025, a new lawsuit filed in New York added even more fuel to the fire. This one came from a former music producer who worked closely with Diddy in the late 2000s. The suit accuses Diddy and several associates of sexual assault and coercion, mirroring the same disturbing pattern that's appeared in other complaints. The plaintiff's lawyers confirmed they've already handed over documents to federal agents. Once again, Diddy's legal team denied everything. Meanwhile, sources close to the investigation told NBC News that federal prosecutors have been examining shell companies connected to Combs Enterprises, including several linked to family members. While there's no official word that Janice Combs has been questioned, financial experts have noted that her name still appears on property filings and business documents tied to Diddy's assets, especially in Florida and New York. If investigators trace money through those accounts, she could easily become part of the financial trail. And in a shocking twist, Sean Diddy Combs stepped down as chairman of Revolt TV and has since stayed largely out of the spotlight. He's reportedly been selling off real estate, including his Los Angeles mansion, and cutting ties with longtime business partners. Legal analysts say this kind of move often signals that a celebrity is bracing for a major federal case. So, as of early 2026, Diddy's entire world looks like it's hanging by a thread, and the big question still remains: when the truth finally comes out, will it stop with Diddy, or will it reach all the way back to the person who helped build his foundation, Janice Combs herself? If you thought this story was wild, just wait until you see what's next. The next video dives even deeper into a whole new set of people you probably never imagined would be wrapped up in stories like these. It's a completely different case with new faces, hidden secrets, and shocking connections that'll have you questioning everything you thought you knew about the industry. So don't miss it. Click the next video right now and see just how deep this world really goes. But before you go, we want to hear from you. After everything you've just seen, what do you think about the relationship between Diddy and his mother, Janice Combs? Do you believe she's just a loyal parent protecting her son, or is there something far more complicated hiding behind that silence? Drop your thoughts below. We're reading every single comment.